bring your guitar when you go with the goats? I love it. Oh, I wish I could play. Will you teach me?
There's no time now. We must eat our lunch. You go and get the milk.
So the day went, so the weeks went, happy, carefree. But finally, the days grew dark. The strong winds blew, the snow came, and the days with the goats were ended. I was happy with my grandfather and helped him with the chores, but I missed Peter, who had to go to school each day in the village. One day, the minister from the village came to see my grandfather and told him that I should go to school. But my grandfather wouldn't hear of it. He said that it was too far down the mountain for me to go and that I was too young. Then came a time of storm, and for days we didn't see the sun. Just dark clouds, howling winds, and snow and snow and snow. I tried to keep busy and be happy, but it was very hard. I tried to make up a song about the good things in winter, but I couldn't think of any. Then one day my grandfather said, "Christmas will soon be here. We should be preparing for it." That changed everything. I got busy making decorations for the house and for the tree, baking cookies and decorating them, making candy, and secretly in my hayloft making presents for my grandfather and for Peter. Before I knew it, the big day had arrived. It was the best and merriest day I had ever known. Everything was wonderful, but the best of all was my grandfather's present to me. It was a guitar, just like Peter's. My beautiful guitar helped me while away the long, dark days of winter. But one day dawned bright and clear, and I was able to get out of the house and really see my mountains in their winter finery. I realized that there were some good things about winter after all, and I was making up a little song about them when I was interrupted by Aunt Dete, who had taken advantage of the fine day to climb up the mountain to see us.
Hello, Adelheid and Uncle. Oh, isn't this a beautiful day?
Hello, Aunt Dete.
What brings you here?
I have very good news for you.
Good news?
Yes, I found a marvellous place for Heidi in Frankfurt. It's with the Sesemann family, and they are very rich. The father is a widower, but they have many servants, and one little girl who is an invalid and needs a child for company. Heidi will have the best of everything and will be doing some good, too.
Are you quite finished?
Why are you so angry? I bring you good news.
Good news? If you call taking that child away from me good news, I'd hate to hear bad.
You're just thinking of yourself, not of Heidi. You're ruining her. I heard in the village how you won't even let her go to school. She'll grow up an ignoramus, and it will be all your fault.
You should have thought of all that when you first brought her to me.
She had no place to go then. Now I have found her a suitable place.
I'm not going to leave, Grandfather.
You don't know what you're saying. Now, get your things and come along.
Oh, I'm sorry, Heidi. I guess it's best that you do as your aunt says. But I'll miss you very much.
Oh, and I'll miss you too.
Remember me every time you play your guitar.
On the way down the mountain, I said goodbye to Peter. He was very sad to see me go and asked that I write him letters from my new home. I promised that I would, but I couldn't think of this new place as home. Home was with my grandfather, and it was with a very heavy heart that I boarded the train for Frankfurt. Not even the excitement of my first train ride could overcome my feelings of sadness and gloom. The Sesemanns lived in a huge mansion in Frankfurt. I had never seen so grand a house. We were shown into the presence of Miss Rottenmeier, the housekeeper. She was a tall, thin woman with a sharp nose and even sharper eyes.
What is your name, child?
Heidi.
What? I never heard of such a name. Surely you were not baptized, Heidi?
Her Christian name is Adelheid, Miss Rottenmeier, and now, if you'll excuse me, I must catch a train.
You can't go now. How do I know if this child will do? I just set eyes on her a minute ago.
I'm sure you'll find she's everything that I said to Mr. Sesemann, and he too...
He told me to interview her and see if she will do. I'm doing that now. How old are you, Adelheid?
8.
And how many books have you studied?
None.
She has not had the opportunity of going to school, and Mr. Sesamon said that here she might be taught by Clara's tutor.
I was under the impression this child was to help us here and be a companion to Clara, not to be given schooling and waited on as if she were a daughter of the house.
Mr. Sesamon told me that he wanted a child unlike any other, and I immediately thought of Heidi.
I can understand that.
If I'm to be a help and a companion to Clara, shouldn't I meet her? And shouldn't she say whether I'll do?
In time. Now, I say you'll do, if you obey my rules.
Walk slowly, with your head erect, speak only when you're spoken to. When at the table, etiquette provides that you sit there quietly, hands at your sides, no squirming, fretting while you eat, no slurping sounds with soup or meat. Miss Rottenmeier's rules, when properly used, will teach me to be a lady like she. She'll teach me the don'ts, she'll teach me the do's. It's hard to confuse Miss Rottenmeier's rules. She'll teach me the don'ts, she'll teach me the do's, and then I shall lose Miss Rottenmeier's rules, and then I shall lose Miss Rottenmeier's
If you don't mind, I really must go now. Goodbye, Heidi, and be a good girl.
Goodbye, Aunt Daisy.
Come, child, and I'll introduce you to Miss Clara.
Clara had spent most of her life in a large, comfortable wheelchair. At mealtime, she was wheeled to the table, but most of the rest of the time she spent in the study, a bright, book-lined room. It was there Miss Rottenmeier took me.
Miss Clara, this is Adelheid, who will be your new companion.
Come closer to me, Adelheid. Oh, that is a difficult name. Do you have a nickname?
They call me Heidi.
I like that much better. I'll always call you that. Were you glad to come to Frankfurt?
No.
What kind of an answer is that, child? My goodness, you are difficult.
Why weren't you glad to come here?
Oh, because I was very happy living with my grandfather on the mountain.
You lived on the mountain? How high?
Oh, very high. My grandfather's house is higher on the mountain than anyone else's.
Oh, that must be wonderful. What did you do?
In the summer, I helped Peter take the goats to the high meadow.
Oh, you lucky girl. No wonder you didn't want to come here.
She is very ill-mannered to say so.
But very truthful. Oh, I know I'm going to like you, Heidi. I hope you like me.
I'm sure I will.
So began my life at the Sesamons. In many ways, it was a richer life than I had ever known. I had fine new clothes to wear, my bed was big and soft, and I had a room of my own. Clara and I got on wonderfully. The meals were large and sumptuous. But I couldn't eat. I missed my own home and Peter and my grandfather. Clara tried to make me happy. She invented games and then began teaching me the ABCs so that I could learn to read.
must be learned today, or the judge will call you up to pay. D, E, F, G must run with ease, or something will follow that will not please. Should H, I, J, K be now forgot, disgrace is yours upon the spot. And then L, M must follow at once, or punished you'll be for a sorry dunce. If you knew what next awaited you, you'd haste to learn N-O-B-Q. Now R-S-T, be quick about. No worse will follow, there's little doubt. If you put the U for V, you'll go where you would not like to be. If you falter a W, worst of all, look at the stick against the wall. Then comes the X for you to say, or be sure you'll get no food today. And should you make a stop at Y, they'll point at you and cry, fie, fie. Make haste with Z if you're too slow. To the Hottentots you will go.
I'm sorry, Clara. Nothing helps. I keep on thinking of Peter and his guitar and his goats and my goats and my grandfather, and I miss them all so.
Don't cry, Heidi. My grandmother is coming to visit us soon, and I will tell her about you and your grandfather, and perhaps she will arrange it that you can go back to the mountain, and maybe I could go with you.
I was sure Clara meant well, but her grandmother didn't come, and the long, dark days of February and March came and went, one after the other. I felt cramped and cooped up in the big, dark house, and I longed for the fresh, clear, clean air of the mountain top. One day, I think it was in April, the sun shone brightly, and the wind from the mountains was blowing free and clear, and I could stand it no longer. So I ran away, out of the house into the street and into the centre of the town. There I found a tall, tall tower, and I went into the building and climbed to the top of it.
High in a tower as I looked down over the roofs of the town, the distant hills seemed to beckon me out where the wind blows free, calling me Heidi. Come to the mountains high, Heidi. I hear the mountains cry. I heard the wind through the mountain, through the piney wood trees, up high above on the meadow. Oh, how I long to be out where the wind blows free. I heard the wind through the mountain, through the piney wood trees, up high above on the meadow. Oh, how I long to be out where the wind blows free.
When I came down from the tower, a policeman stopped me and asked me where I lived. When I told him, he took me back to the Sesamans' house. Miss Rottenmeier was furious. I think she was more angry about the fact that a policeman had brought me back than she was about the fact that I had run away in the first place. Anyway, she sent me to my room and locked the door. I was not to see anyone, not even Clara. This went on for several days, and it was a terrible time for me. For the first time in my life, I couldn't find anything to be happy about. When Miss Rottenmeier brought my meals to me, I begged her to let me out, but she said I was not to be trusted. I couldn't eat a bite. After what seemed a very long time, the door of my room was opened, and a kindly-faced old woman came in. It was Clara's grandmother. She said, "Come downstairs, child. I want to talk to you." So we went downstairs to the study, where I found Clara.
Oh, Heidi, are you all right?
I didn't mean to run away, Clara, but the wind was from the mountains, and I had to follow it.
I am going to talk to your father, Clara, about Miss Rottenmeier. Keeping this child locked in her room was downright cruel and inhuman.
I didn't know, Grandmother, or I would have insisted that she let Heidi out. Heidi didn't do anything wrong.
Why are you so unhappy, child?
Oh, Clara is very kind and my good friend, but I miss my home and my grandfather. I wish Clara could come with me, and we both could go to my home. Oh, I know Clara would be happy there.
I think that's a good idea. It's very healthful in the high mountains, and being with you when you're happy should be a tonic to anyone. I'm going to arrange it. And so Clara's grandmother did. In just a few days, she took the two of us on the train to Meienfeld and then up the mountain. Clara riding on a donkey's back and Grandmother and I on foot. Grandfather was delighted to see me and gladly welcomed Clara to stay with us. Clara and I slept in his big bed and he slept in the hayloft. Clara's grandmother stayed in Dorfli. So it went on for several weeks, and the wonderful mountain air seemed to be like a medicine for Clara. She grew stronger and stronger. I had told her so often of the wonders of the high meadows, and she wanted so much to go there with Peter and me. One fine, bright morning, she said she would try to get out of her chair and walk. We all held our breath as she took her first step. But the first step was only a beginning. Soon Clara, with my help and Peter's, was walking longer and longer distances. And there came a day when she was strong enough to go with us all the way to the high meadow to see Peter's ways and Peter's places.
Come with me to the mountains where the flowers are in bloom. Come with me to the meadows where the hills will sing their tune. To the village we must go, to the hills far up above, where the grass is green and the air is clean, to the places that I love.
I love it too.
As we climb the mountainside, where the goat herd loves to roam, there are roses red, violets blue, on the meadows far from home. Odelay, odelay, how I love the places high. Odelay, odelay, I can almost touch the sky. Up the mountains we must go, where the piney wind will blow, and the eagles fly in the sunlit sky as the flowers grow in snow. Odelay, odelay, sing the mountains high above. Odelay, odelay, to the places that I love. Odelay, 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 oh, the places that I love. Odelay, odelay, odelay,
the three of us had a happy, happy time in the high meadow with Peter's goats. Now, as a grown mother, looking back on the days of my childhood, I believe that the reason I was able to overcome much misfortune was that I tried to look on the happy side of things as much as I could. I tell my own children that today, and hope that it helps them to live happier and brighter lives.
I heard the wind through the mountain, through the piney wood tree.